Hi guys, welcome back to TOEFL with Juva. I only had 1 week to prepare for the TOEFL. I needed 110 points. It was extremely stressful, but in the end I did it. I got 115. In this video, I give you 6 tips on how to prepare for the TOEFL in 1 week. Let's get started. Tip number 1 is focus on writing, speaking, and reading. The TOEFL has 4 sections: writing, speaking, reading, and listening. Now, it's almost impossible to improve your listening skills in just a few days. I'm sorry, but that's true. Of course, you can practice listening to some podcasts to brush your listening skills. You can also practice taking notes while listening and become familiar with the structure of the listening section to boost that score. Definitely familiarize yourself with the structure of TOEFL listening. That's important because you need to know what it will be like. But don't expect that you can improve your listening skills in that week. That's just not enough time. Instead, focus on the sections where you can really boost your score. Become familiar with the tasks in TOEFL writing and write a few answers. You must get used to that so you know how to do it on the test. If you have no idea how to write a good answer, you will be in trouble. And here's my top tip on how to boost your writing score. Use a template. Templates are amazing because they give you sentence starters for your answers, so you don't have to think about that. This saves you so much time. Templates organize your answers, and they also make sure that you use a large vocabulary, which will improve your score. You can find templates, practice tests, and sample answers in my TOEFL materials. I show you how to write an amazing answer using the templates, so you can boost your score quickly. Just click on the link in the description. Next, have a look at the tasks in TOEFL Speaking. There are 4 different tasks, and you must become familiar with them. You must know what the questions ask you to do. Answer questions and time yourself. You must get used to delivering an answer in a short amount of time. Again, use templates to answer the questions. This will make your life so much easier. You can find speaking templates in my TOEFL materials. Now, let's have a look at TOEFL reading. It's difficult to improve your reading skills in just a few days, but there is one thing that you can do. You can get used to the question types and understand how to solve them, and you can develop a reading strategy. These 2 points are essential for getting a high reading score. To get a high score, you don't need to understand every word. You just need to know how to find the correct answers fast and which traps the TOEFL examiners use to test whether you understand what you have read. And this is something you can improve on in 1 week. If you want to boost your reading score, check out my TOEFL reading course. In this course, we solve practice tests together, and I show you strategies so you can find the correct answers fast. The link is in the description. This brings us to tip number 2. Take practice tests and learn from them. One of the best ways to get used to the TOEFL is to take practice tests. I suggest doing several during the week. When you take the first practice tests, take as long as you need to understand and answer the questions. Then time yourself so you're familiar with how long the sections are. If you don't have time to sit for a whole test, you can still try individual sections or even questions. However, don't just take a test and end there. Instead, check all of the answers. Read explanations for the answers you got wrong. Learn from your mistakes. That's so important. When I prepared for the TOEFL, I found that I learned most from looking at explanations of answers I'd gotten wrong, because it helped me understand why I got them wrong. And when I got a similar question on another practice test, I knew how to answer it, because I was aware of the mistake I'd made before. So learn from your mistakes. Making mistakes when practicing is not a problem. It's an amazing learning opportunity. Additionally, when doing practice tests, you can also find patterns in the questions you do well or not. If you consistently get one type correct, then don't focus on studying these questions if you only have 1 week. You know how to do it. There is no need to practice more of them. However, if you get one type wrong, take time to develop a strategy for solving them. These are the questions you need to work on, because here lies an opportunity to boost your score. If you know how to solve them correctly in your TOEFL, you can improve your score considerably. So look at the scores on your practice tests and focus your study time most effectively. My next tip is don't waste time on vocabulary. This may sound counterintuitive, but you only have 1 week. You don't have time to memorize a lot of new words in the hopes that you may be asked questions that relate to them. It's great to write flashcards and working on your vocabulary when you have plenty of time, but you only have 1 week. It's much better to take practice tests and learn ways to approach each question than randomly study words. This will help you way more to boost your score. Tip number 4 is understand the test structure. This is so important for improving your score. You need to know what to expect on the test. Read about the 4 sections and the types of questions you will find. Learning about the test gives you a few awesome advantages. First, you won't be surprised by the types of questions. One reason people do poorly is that they panic and freeze when they see or hear unusual questions. You can reduce those chances by having a look at the sections and the types of questions before you take your TOEFL. Second, you can save time reading the instructions. If you know what prompts there are, you only have to skim over them to be ready for each section. The time you save can be spent on preparing your answers. It may just be a few seconds, but that may be enough, for example, to answer 1 more reading question. Third, you won't miss valuable points like write over 100 words. Some people rush through reading the instructions and make mistakes like thinking that the prompt says write less than 200 words, and then they lose points, simply because they don't know what the instructions say. You can easily avoid this by having a look at the instructions before you take your TOEFL. Therefore, take time to familiarize yourself with the entire test. Next, prioritize the TOEFL. If you only have a week to prepare, you should focus on the TOEFL test. You can't study every hour of every day, but seriously consider what activities are necessary and which you can postpone. If you are taking the TOEFL, you probably need it for something important. You may want a good score to get into your dream college or to live overseas. With that in mind, 1 week of focusing on the test is not a large sacrifice. It would be worse to put off studying and miss the chance of reaching your life goals. Finally, don't forget to rest. The TOEFL is exhausting. Get a lot of sleep, eat solid meals, and rest the day before the test. It's a long test and you need to be at your physical and mental best. You must concentrate for several hours doing a wide variety of tasks. Don't spend the last night staying up really late cramming for the test. Sleep well and wake up ready to do your best on the actual TOEFL. That's it. That's 6 tips to prepare for the TOEFL in 1 week. I hope you guys liked this video. If you have any questions or a video wish, comment below. I would love to see you here next time. Bye bye.